podcast title RSI, more like really smart investor. I am your host EIP. Hey. Welcome back to Everything is Planned, trading podcast, trading against the herd, trading tips for the average Joe who has no idea what they're doing. The podcast where I, EIP, your not so humble host, navigate the chaotic jungle of stock trading with all the grace of a baby giraffe on roller skates. Today's episode is brought to you by RSI, the only three letters in the trading world that might make you sound like you know what you're talking about. So buckle up because we're diving deep into the relative strength index, or as I like to call it, the really spicy indicator. I just made that up, but hey, it works. Now, if you're here thinking, what the heck is RSI? Don't worry, you're in the right place. In the next 20 minutes, you'll not only know what RSI is, but you'll also have enough confidence to drop it casually into conversations. You'll be like, oh yeah, I just bought that stock because the RSI was at 25 and looked super oversold. And your friends will be like, wow, you must be a financial genius, but secretly, you and I will know the truth. I just read a bunch of stuff on the internet and made it sound fancy. So what is RSR? Okay, let's break it down. RSI stands for Relative Strength Index. Now, I know that sounds like the kind of phrase you'd hear from a personal trainer who wants to make you do squats, but it's actually a trading indicator. And what does it do? It measures the speed and change of price movements on a scale from 0 to 100. Now, why would you care about that? Because RSI helps you figure out if a stock is overbought or oversold. Let me put it in more relatable terms. Imagine the stock market is like a game of dodgeball. You've got a few players who are just dominating the court. No one can touch them. They're hitting people left and right. But eventually, even the best dodgeball players get tired. That's overbought. The RSI is like the referee, stepping in to say, hey, you're doing great, but maybe sit down before you pull a hammy. On the flip side, they are the underdogs. They're getting hit with dodgeballs from every direction, just sitting there like human pinatas. That's oversold. It's like the stock market saying, give this stock a break, it's had enough. When the RSI drops below 30. The stock is oversold. That's the market's way of saying, hey, maybe give this sad little stock a shot. It's down, but it's not out yet. So RSI gives us a number between 0 and 100 to tell us when a stock has either been dodging too many balls, overbought, or getting whacked repeatedly oversold. It's like the stock market's mood ring, except instead of showing colors, it shows us when to chill or pounce. How does it work? Without making your brain melt. Let's dig into the technical stuff for a second. Don't panic, it will be quick. The RSI calculation is based on average gains versus average losses over a specific period, typically 14 days. That's right, 14 whole days of price history crammed into a single number. But here's the part you'll care about if the RSI is above 70. That's a red flag that the stock might be overbought. It's been on a wild upward ride. And things could come crashing down faster than you can say, oops, I bought at the top. On the flip side, if the RSI is below 30, the stock is oversold, which means it might be a bargain. Like finding that one good avocado at the grocery store that somehow hasn't been bruised by humanity yet. It's that simple. And if it's not that simple, I'm sorry, but this is as good as it gets. Okay, but what about strategy? Alright, let's talk about how to actually use this bad boy in your trading. If you're like me, you're probably imagining yourself looking at the RSI like it's some magic 8-ball, shaking it and asking, should I buy Tesla right now? Well, not quite. The RSI is more like that friend who gives you advice, but doesn't actually know what they're talking about 100% of the time. Like, yeah, they might know some stuff, but should you only listen to them? Probably not. They're not a fortune teller. They're more like that guy who predicts rain by saying my knees hurt, so it must be coming. Here's a classic RSI strategy. When the RSI climbs above 70, the stock might be getting a little too hot to handle, and you might want to consider selling or at least not buying anymore. It's like looking at a pizza and saying, I really want that third slice, but if I eat it, I'll regret my life choices. The stock is overbought. It's been running up too fast for too long, and it might be time for it to cool down. On the other hand, when the RSI drops below 30, it's like walking into a store and seeing your favorite snack on sale for 75% off. You're thinking, do I really need to buy 10 boxes of Pop-Tarts? Well, maybe you don't need to, but it sure feels like a good idea. That's the market telling you this stock has been beat up, kicked to the curb, and left for dead. But hey, it's still a lifetime to grab it on the cheap. So the game plan is simple. Buy when things look ugly RSI under 30, and sell when things look too good to be true, RSI over 70. Easy, right? Almost too easy, which is why it doesn't always work. But wait, it's not foolproof. Remember that time you thought you could fix your leaky faucet by watching one YouTube video? Yeah, RSI is like that. It's a tool, a very helpful tool, but if you only use it and ignore everything else, you might end up flooding your kitchen. The RSI is a great indicator, but it works best when you combine it with other tools, like moving averages or trend lines, or heck, even common sense. The stock market is a wild place, and sometimes the RSI will be screaming, sell, sell. Sell, and the stock will just keep going up because everyone's throwing money at it like it's a Vegas slot machine that just hit triple sevens. Or the RSI will tell you buy this, it's a bargain, and then the stock drops another 30% because surprise, the company is going out of business and just filed for bankruptcy. Thanks RSI. You really nailed it this time. So don't go putting all your eggs in one RSI shaped basket, but do use it as part of your toolkit. It's like bringing an umbrella when the weather forecast is iffy. You might not need it, but you'll be glad you had it just in case. Story time, my RSI fiasco. Now, let me tell you about the time RSI led me down the wrong path. I saw this stock, let's call it Stock X because I don't want to name names and embarrass myself too much. Anyway, Stock X had an RSI of 80. That's right, 80. Practically on fire. The RSI was flashing overbought, louder than the neon lights on the Las Vegas Strip. So what did I do? I sold. I thought I was a genius. But guess what? Stock X didn't just not drop. No, it soared another 30% over the next week. Meanwhile, I sat there refreshing the chart every 5 minutes, sobbing softly into my keyboard. The lesson? The market is a crazy place, and even when you think you know what's coming, sometimes it just does its own thing. The takeaway. To wrap this up, yes, the RSI is a great tool. It's fun to say. It makes you feel like you're in the know. It can be your guiding light in a sea of confusing stock charts. But remember, it's just one piece of the puzzle. Use it, love it, but don't marry it. So next time you see that RSI creeping up past 70, take a deep breath and maybe think about selling. And when it's diving below 30, don't freak out. There might be an opportunity there or not. That's the magic of trading. You never know. Thanks for tuning in to Trading Tips for the Average Joe. I'll be back next time to tackle another trading strategy that I'll try to explain in a way that won't make your head explode. Until then, keep your RSI under 70 and your dreams above 100. Peace out. Peace out.